Ah, the boat life brochure. White sandy beaches, crystal clear water, epic excursions, and of course, riding on the wind while racing dolphins through bottomless salty depths. Good news is that's all true. Bad news is there's more to it than that. This is Joel, I'm Michael, and here's Lola. We're bums on a boat, and we tell it to you straight. But you told me you deal with your own on board Shock Mate.
These are the tales of Moab.
Whoa. Never seen this. Whew. Hi. Thanks for joining us this week. What we have here is a Raritan pump unit, and we have a complete rebuild kit right here. And hopefully we are going to be able to figure this out, replace everything, and maybe we'll have a working toilet.
We were fortunate enough to get in touch with Greg, who works for Raritan. He's the VP of Operations. Got in touch with him through our friends Bill and Danilee, who also have Raritan heads on their boat. And he was awesome enough to send us this rebuild kit. Initially, we got in touch just telling him about what our issues were and wondering if he had any suggestions for what we might need for parts in order to fix this toilet. Essentially what's happening is that it recycles the wastewater back into the bowl when you flush, so it doesn't go out. And he said that sounds like you need a full rebuild kit. So he sent us the rebuild kit free of charge.
So far, this has been a much more pleasant experience than that Groco head. It's just easy to get to everything. But as I was taking out this little piece in here, I noticed one of the seals down below here is just in pieces. And we used to always, it would leak out here every time you would pump. One more thing. This is not going to be like an instructional video on how to rebuild your Raritan. There are some of them out there. The one I watched was kind of boring. The guy never talked. It was 20 minutes long, but it was helpful. So this is going to be like our experience as we're going through this. When we discover stuff, we'll show you some of the process, but it's not a step-by-step tutorial. I hope that's okay.
Just in case you are curious, the type of toilet that we have is a Power Flush pH 2.
We're figuring this out as we go, so if we can do it, you could probably just figure it out as you go. So far, It's been pretty self-explanatory.
One of the first things Joel told me when I moved onto this boat 2 years ago, and we weren't even dating, we weren't a couple, but he told me, you deal with your own on board Shock Mate. And I didn't really know what that meant at first at all. I was kind of like, okay, deal with your own poop, sure. Like, I'll flush the toilet for myself, that's fine. But one of the things that boat life involves, in case you don't live on a boat and you're not aware, is dealing with your own defecation more than you would like. We've been battling this toilet for ages.
Not this toilet.
Well, we've been
specific.
Yeah, we've been battling the toilet situation for ages. But even when we did have a working toilet, it's not like a toilet in the house, you know? It just doesn't work that efficiently, and it can get plugged up, it can get stoppered up. It's just...
I got an example. So our friend Bill and Danilee, we were on their boat yesterday, and they were telling us a story how much Bill loves his wife. And he proceeded to explain how he emptied a toilet with Pixie cups.
A Dixie cup.
Dixie cups, yeah, those little thin disposable
Paper
cups. And that's love.
It was the first time they were on their boat.
There was poop in the toilet.
On passage.
On passage.
Yep.
Underway. That's love right there.
They might not appreciate us telling the story.
The old Joker valve, that doesn't look too bad. That is
That was a new one, I think, that we put in there.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? This is just kind of a gross episode, guys. There's no way around it. It's a gross job. It's not fun. But our strategy has been basically just taking everything apart, cleaning it with some vinegar, some Dawn soap. So that's what I'm doing. I know you're probably like, why the heck aren't you wearing any gloves? We've got these things, which I thought about, but they're just gonna get soaked anyway. And the vinegar really kills any of the gnarliness that's gonna be in there, bacteria or whatnot.
Teflon tape. Can't go wrong there. Get us a good seal. We just applied this super lube that comes with the rebuild kit all over the piston ring here. Nice new O-ring on there. Old one really didn't look that bad, but
So does this just
screw in there? Not yet though.
Okay.
Alright, the pump is assembled. One of the main reasons why I love this Raritan over the Groco is you can see underneath the bowl here, you have this like tube. So everything comes into this tube and it comes over here, and this is where the pump is. So unlike the Groco, you do not have to take this entire bowl off every time you want to work on anything at all. Plus, just this is so lightweight, it was so easy to work with. It's like a million times better than that Groco K-style head. I'm really excited. I don't know if it's gonna work yet.
So we're almost to the final fit. We're hooking up hoses. Babes, how's it looking in there?
It's looking pretty good.
Dun, 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 dun.
Got the waist hose hooked up.
I see you've done a little bit of a different arrangement with the hose, but that looks like it's working.
Yeah, we don't have a hole saw, and we just want to see if it works before we start drilling holes in the boat, so this is not the final fit. We'd want that hose to come in behind here and come out of a hole down here. That way eventually we can put like some sort of cupboards up and it looks a lot nicer than that. And the other thing is this hose is a little long here. Can you see that?
Yep.
So we probably want to cut it to like here because it's just too long. It just sticks out in our little shower.
Just dangling.
Dangle it. But we're just gonna put it together as is, mount it, and then test it. And then from there we'll know where we're going, I guess. I mean, we still have a little bit of another thing, the vented loop we have to investigate, because we're pretty sure that the whole problem was our vented loop. Like we've had a lead. We're gonna fix this first, see what happens. If it's still backflowing, we're gonna check the vented loop.
Are you hungry?
Yes, very hungry.
Working on the toilet builds up an appetite?
Yeah, it was actually fine out here working on the pump, but trying to work in the tiny bathroom and there's no moving air, I lost my cool once or twice.
I see that. You're a little
We didn't capture it on camera.
sweaty.
Okay, well, this one kind of hurts. It's great. We're learning a lot, but this is our vented loop for the wastewater. And let's see. There's no valve in there. So when you take this cap off, there should have been a little rubber valve in there. There's different kinds, but they kind of look like a flapper valve or a duck valve. And then this screws on top, and what that does is when you flush out, it closes that valve, so you know the wastewater goes around and doesn't squirt out of this and go straight up. It also prevents siphoning. So when you're sailing, if you're heeled on one side, you can get a siphon effect and seawater can come into the boat and just siphon through. So this stops that. The valve also stops the wastewater from recycling, which was the problem we've been having with the old toilet, with this toilet. We have to find the valve here somewhere in Luperon.
We have an exciting development to share with you guys. Joel, what do you got there?
Freddie had what we were looking for. It's not popping out now, of course.
Oh.
this little guy here, this little valve. Woo!
Just a teeny little Duckie bill valve
Little
for
Duckie
the anti-siphon loop.
Yep, so boom. Of course, it came with everything. He wouldn't sell this separately. You can see the price tag there. $700 for this bad boy. And all we needed was this little thing here. But that's fine. It's totally worth it. You know, we're balling now. We've been doing really well lately, so $700 for a little.
Since when have we been
valve.
balling? You haven't told me that we're balling lately.
Well, moving on. Okay, so
We're gonna stick this thing in there and then give it a couple flushes, right?
yeah, it should be fairly easy, right? This goes in the cap here, and then we're just gonna go screw it on. Now, Michael, this is backwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's
duck
a little
goes
hole
down.
and a duck. The duck down, hole up. That is
Quack.
that is a mantra.
Huh?
Duck down, hole up. That's what I used to use when I was a golfer.
What?
When I was putting, it really helped me to drain my putts. I would always say duck down, hole up, and then I'd close my eyes and drain it pretty much 90% of the time, even a 50-footer, no biggie. Okay, so let's go put this in there. All right, let's install this bad boy.
Pretty complex installation.
Now with the camera in my face. Okay, there we go. I just didn't want to drop it again. I did drop it during the test fit and it was hard to find, but okay. All right, we are about to perform the official test, but first I'm going to do the test with an atomic fireball in my mouth. Compliments of Eric, a patron of ours. Thanks for the care package. There were many things in the care package, but among them, atomic fireballs. Okay, now we're gonna mix a little bit of coffee with our test water. That way, we'll know if it's backflowing. So as we're flushing out, if we start seeing brown coming out, then we're right where we started. If we don't see the brown coming out from the top, I think we're in business. Oh, excuse me. Drum roll, please. Let's go, baby. Hearing some noises.
Do you have it on flush, so it should be bringing seawater in?
Yep.
But it's not.
It doesn't appear to be bringing seawater in. We might need to prime it.
Okay, so we're having trouble bringing raw water in to flush the bowl, and Joel just watched somebody install the little inlet valve, so he's checking that out.
Yeah, watched a pro, I hope, and I watched, he had this, when he pushed it down, he had this little hole lined up with the pump unit, and that was not the way that I started it. I don't know if it matters. It's starting to really break me, this toilet. Or, you know, this toilet has been nice, but toilets in general. Alright, but that's the way he oriented it before he installed it. And
so how are you getting it so you're making sure it was only a quarter turn?
well, I mean, it should just, according to what we're looking at, this should only turn a quarter turn, but when we were turning it, it was turning like 180 degrees. So there, it stops there, and when you come back, it stops. So that's how it's supposed to be. And when you saw our first test fit, it was spinning twice that much before it would stop. So hopefully that has something to do with it. It's definitely evacuating. We're just not getting
And the water
we're not
coming
getting the
inside.
water coming in.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh.
Woohoo!
I didn't see you there.
What happened?
Well, this is kind of embarrassing, guys, but we both took a poop in the toilet and it worked. it left the boat and we were able to bring some water in from the sea to flush the bowl. It's working pretty much perfectly.
Alright, but
Don't show them the poop.
I'm not. I'm just saying the whole weird thing here is this is our intake hose here, and it has a vented loop as well. So there's the waste hose. Now what we had to do is just put our finger on top of this vented loop, and that allowed water to come back into the system. Simple as that.
Yep.
These are the tales of Moab.
Over here.
Come on, Willie. Pay attention. Focus.
Moab! Lola dipped.
How come you're so quiet?